Welcome back, baseball fans, to Baseball Chat. The other day I was just thinking about how the Yankees and the rest of MLB has done since the trade deadline. Let's give Joseph a call.
Benji,
What do you think about how the Yankees have done since the trade deadline?
you mean the New York Yankees that are 13 games back from first place? They're in dead last.
This might be the first time since the Yankees have been dead last in the division this late in the year, and they might actually end up dead last in the division to end the season.
The Yankees are 5 games out of the wild card, but also at the same time, who else is trying to get a wild card spot? There's other people involved, other teams that are better than them. It hurts me to say that.
To me, this is the worst Yankees team I've seen. Honestly, in our lifetime, this is the worst team I've seen.
No. Hold on a second. Lyle Overbay. Come on. What was that, 2013?
2013, yes, with Lyle Overbay, with Vernon Wells,
But
with
you
Pete
know
Smith,
what? You
with
know
all
what?
those
No. I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, all those guys were injured. All the good guys were injured. So these guys were replacements. So yeah, it was a terrible team. But in a way, this is way worse because our good guys are not injured. They just suck.
They have been awful. Stanton is batting 200 this year. Rizzo is out with a concussion that they took 3 months to figure out. Hey, you know what? He's concussed. He's not just playing awful. He's concussed. They don't have a regular catcher. They don't have a regular third baseman. They don't have a regular left fielder. And okay, Judge is back. Fantastic. So what? Every team is just pitching around Judge because they know he is the only
They
one hitting.
walk him, they send him to first base because they know there's no one to back him up.
Exactly. It's like when Mike Trout, whenever Pujols would go down, he doesn't have the protection. Just walk Mike Trout.
I think it's important that we go over the Yankees lineup. Okay, so today in their loss against the Marlins, they lost 8-7. It was a walk-off, and they were winning at 1.73. Let's just talk about who Aaron Boone is putting out there every day. So in today's game, leading off, you had Bowers. Okay, so he's hitting 217, right?
Yeah, you don't
Wonderful.
want and Bowers 5 strikeouts today.
Sometimes he could hit a home run. Yeah, you don't put that guy as your leadoff guy. God, it's just
No.
so terrible. I'm like laughing because I can't even say it with a straight face, Benji.
What else is there to do? What all you can do right now is laugh through the pain. Like
I guess that's what we have to do. I mean, so Aaron Judge is batting second. When was it okay to put your best player second? When does that ever make sense? Tell me. Does Mike
never,
Trout bat second most of the time? No.
Miguel Cabrera, he never batted second once he became that superstar.
Did A-Rod ever bat second?
Not since I think early in his career. That's it.
Right, exactly. When he's, in his prime, he was not batting second.
No.
I remember when he came back after his suspension, Girardi said, I expect him to bat cleanup, like I always did. Even though Girardi had some problems with making a lineup, at least he understood certain things. But Aaron Boone thinks it's okay to just put this random lineup together that makes no sense. Then you got Torres batting third. Judge is hitting 281. Torres is hitting 269. Okay, so if you want to follow the averages, okay, they do belong somewhere at the top of the lineup. Stanton hits home runs. I mean, he's hitting 206, but I don't know why he's separating Judge from Stanton. When they're together back-to-back in the lineup, they usually do well.
Here's my thought process on that. Torres has been the Yankees' hottest hitter since beginning of July. That you want him backing up the Yankees' best hitter. If I'm Boone, I'd rather have Torres, who has speed. He stole second and third base today. Torres has speed. I want him batting second. That way, Judge has a better chance.
That seems like a perfectly good place for him. When he's doing well, put him in second. And then Judge can bat third. And then you put Stan right behind him. And this is my thing with Stan. Stan needs to play every single day. When he's not injured, put him behind Judge every single day. Let him play the outfield. He's a great outfielder. And then consistency usually helps players.
There was this stat the other day. Stanton does statistically way better when he's in the field than he does as a DH. And Boone, for all his analytic garbage isn't looking at the biggest analytics of them all and putting Stanton as the DH.
You're right. It's sad. Okay, so then you have Bader batting fifth right after Stanton. Bader has speed and his average is way better than Bowers. Why is he not leading off? Why are you not doing Bader, Torres, Judge, Stanton? Why are you not doing that? I don't get it. Batting sixth, McKinley. No, McKinney, my bad, McKinney. He's
Yep.
hitting 237. And then he was replaced by Oswaldo Cabrera, who's hitting 202. And again, this young guy, maybe he can be helpful, maybe he cannot be. I don't know. But if you're not playing consistently, there's no chance, especially if you're a young guy. How are you
Exactly, but
supposed to build experience and confidence in the lineup? Like Volpe sitting 211.
he's in the lineup every game. This is the only player on the Yankees that has played in all 118 games. This is the only player that's played in all of them.
And you know what? I passed over someone, Isaiah Kiner Falefa, IKF. Okay. He's hitting 253. He's been one of the Yankees' best players all year long. And you know what? He could have played just as many games as Volpe. And you know what? His average probably would have been even higher than it is now. But don't play the guys that actually do well. It's very rare that you see a utility player that can actually consistently play well. Because again, my point was just a couple of minutes ago, consistency helps. But if you have someone who, when you put them in every once in a while, they do well, then maybe that tells you something that they should be in the lineup every single day.
The problem is the Yankees don't do that anymore. They used to. This is not the George Steinbrenner and Joe Torre Yankees. Hal Steinbrenner is not as invested in this team as his dad was, and Cashman has simply fallen asleep behind the wheel.
Benji,
He is.
you will have your chance, Benji. You will have your chance on Cashman. I can promise you that.
I know. I
But
understand.
Benji,
I can go off on Cashman all day. You know this.
who's the catcher for the Yankees right now?
It's between Wardfeld and Higashioka.
Okay, stop putting in Roortveld.
He did hit a home
Why?
run.
Oh, really? Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so he got into one. That bumps up his average to 125.
And I can't. The Yankees catching.
Consistency. Higashioka, if he plays consistently, he's going to do better. You know it. IKF is showing you that he can play really hard every day, but you're not letting him. But it's okay because you want a guy like Bowers hitting 217.
They know that IKF was a Gold Glove winner at third base with the Rangers. Put him at third base. He's not playing third, second base, shortstop, left field, right field. I think he's played center also this year. And he's pitched. He's only not played two positions this whole year, and that's first base and catcher.
Honestly, okay, when DJ's in the lineup, which hopefully he'll be back, again, if you run a decent lineup out there consistently every single day, you're going to give yourself a good chance of winning. If you pull players, shift them around, players who are hitting 217, 125. 125. How is that going to help you catch anyone? How are you going to get a wild card spot?
They're not. Honestly, this is the earliest I've never, ever in my life given up on the Yankees making a playoffs. Even 2016, when at the deadline they sold and they decided we're going with this team. I still thought they had a chance to make the playoffs late in the season. It pains me to say this. I've given up on the Yankees making the playoffs. I'm hoping now just to be 500 at the end of the year. That's it. I don't want to sugarcoat it. Like, this has been the worst team they've put out since 2013.
So if we're talking pitching, statistically, it doesn't look that bad, but the whole thing is just frustrating. So you're like, oh, this pitching, how could this guy make a mistake on the one day that the Yankees decide to put something together, put some offense together, then the pitching is no good. It's frustrating. So we know where the Yankees stand, 13 games out of the division, 5 games out of the wild card. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens.
Baltimore is leading the division by, I believe, 2.5 games, right?
I see 3 games. Okay. Tampa Bay is right behind them. And just for everyone to understand, they have a 5-game lead in the wild card spot. So good luck. Good luck, Yankees.
Toronto is right behind Tampa by 5 games. And then Boston is right behind Toronto by 3 games.
I just can't believe I'm seeing the Yankees in last place, and then the Orioles are laughing ahead in first place. The Rays are right behind them, so they took a crap on the Yankees, and Toronto is like, well, if the Rays are going to be ahead of you, we're going to be ahead of you too. And then the Red Sox are right behind Toronto, and then there's 4,000 piles of crap, and then there's the Yankees.
Now, moving on to the AL Central, it's pretty much the Twins division to lose at this point. They're the only one in that division that's above 500. They're 4.5 games ahead of Cleveland, and then the rest of the AL Central is just hot garbage.
Detroit's behind Cleveland, the White Sox after that, and then dead last, Kansas City. And then moving on to the American League West, it's a very interesting situation. So Texas just won their 70th game, and they have a 2.5 game lead over Houston. And then behind them, Seattle, they're 6.5 out. And then the Angels are 11.5 out. And then, well,
We don't
Oakland's
talk about
Oakland's
Oakland.
dead last. I'm not even going to tell you how many games back. I really can't even tell you how many games they are. And the Rangers they're showing up this year. They made moves in the offseason. They signed players. Plus, at the trade deadline, they made some improvements. So they're really making an effort, and it's showing. And you know what's sad? The Angels, they tried to make a run for it. Now they're 6.5 out of the wild card, 11.5 out of the division. So it's not really working out too well for them. They got Lucas Giolito.
Okay, so Giolito, his first 2 starts with the Angels, pretty bad. I mean, 5 1/3, 3 innings isn't horrible, but then his next start, 3 2/3, 9 earned runs in that start. He finally did put together a good start against the Giants. He had a quality start, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. That's quality. They finally got the pitcher they thought they were gonna get.
Do you know if Mike Trout is back from his injury?
I don't believe so. I think that would have been like huge news.
Because I
'Cause-
think that's part of the problem because they were 6.5 out of the division. And if anyone's going
And
to give Texas a run for their money with Otani, that combo together, plus they got, some extra pitching, I mean, you would think they're coming for Texas, but it doesn't look likely. Especially without Mike Trout, you don't stand a chance.
yeah, no, they need Mike Trout there. Mike Trout might be coming back within the next week or two because they're saying he's made big strides in his comeback. So he might be back in within 2 weeks.
If they can
They,
stay within 6.5 games of the wild card until he comes back, when he does come back, I feel like he can maybe take them to a wild card spot potentially. Just like Aaron Judge impacts the lineup, so does Mike Trout.
Without Mike Trout, the Angels definitely had no shot of making the playoffs. Although, to be fair, they've had Mike Trout and Otani on the same team for the past 5 years now, and they haven't been close to the playoffs.
They were missing a lot of other pieces. So
Yeah, that's true. Like,
again, the Yankee when Stanton and Judge were doing really well together too. That helps a lot, but it's not going to do it all. And the Angels always struggled with pitching. So moving into the National League, Atlanta sitting at the top, 11.5 game lead. Philadelphia is not going to catch them.
the NL East, the Braves pretty much have that wrapped up. They have Matt Olson, who overtook Shohei Otani for the home run lead. They still have Acuna Jr. and their
I will
pitching.
say, Benji, that Otani has 41 home runs, so he's only one behind Matt Olson to tie it.
This year, there is an outside chance at 2 players at Olson and Otani both hitting 60 home runs. There's that outside shot.
Something to look forward to because obviously I'm not really looking forward to much with the Yankees, but Miami sits behind Philadelphia. They're over 500 this year.
Miami they're a good young team. I think they do have a good shot at making the wild card. The Marlins are a game and a half in back of the Giants for the second spot, and they're only 3 games in back of the Phillies for the first spot. But there's also 3 teams right on their heels. The Cubs are only half a game behind them. The Reds are a game behind the Marlins, and the Diamondbacks are 2.5 games behind the
So
Marlins.
let's jump to the NL Central because there's nothing else to talk about in the National League East because you have, the Mets and the Nats in dead last. Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Cubs. They're 3.5 right behind Milwaukee, and they went on a run, like a big run, and they have a 1-2 punch. They got Swanson and what's that other guy's name?
Oh, Heimer Candelario and Cody Bellinger. I mean, they also have a 1-2 punch in the pitching rotation of Marcus Stroman and Justin Steele. So those two, I like the Cubs' chances at making the playoffs again.
Should be definitely interesting to watch. You have Cincinnati 4 games out of first place. Maybe they can do something. The Pittsburgh Pirates
What's
are
even
only
sadder,
11 games out of their division, and the Yankees
Joseph,
are 13.
you know what's even sadder though? The Pirates, they led the division at one point in this season.
Yeah,
They,
that Jolly
they,
Roger. What do they say? Raise the Jolly Roger.
yeah, I think it's that one.
Anyways, and sad news for the Cardinals 12 and a half out, 9.5 out of the wild card. Sad, sad, sad. Another great franchise at the bottom. But the team that spends the most money, the Los Angeles Dodgers, first place, 8.5 game lead over San Francisco in National League West. San Francisco's they have a 1.5 game lead in the wild card. So they're there. Arizona's 12.5 out, 15.5 out for San Diego, and poor Colorado, 26.5 games out of the division. But don't worry, they're only 16.5 out of the wild card. So anything could happen. So that wraps up what's going on in terms of the standings, how all the teams stand. We did mention the home run leader, Matt Olson. Otani's right behind him at 41, followed by Alonso, 35, Mookie Betts, 31.
Luis Robert Jr. is tied with Betts at 31.
Then, if we move into RBIs, Olson has 105 already. And the next guy has 90. Albies in Atlanta. He has 90.
So I would have said we were in for a Triple Crown watch. For those who don't know what hitting Triple Crown is, it's the league leader in average RBIs and home runs.
You're not
But
going to get that when you're hitting 271, and that's what Matt Olson's hitting. But that's pretty good average. I mean, it's a good year. It's a great year.
But like Arias is hitting almost 100 points more than him at 367. So
367. We have not seen numbers like that in the league in a very long time. Freddie Freeman, right behind him, hitting 339. Benji, your boy Acuna.
Acuna is batting 336. He's having
Bellinger's hitting 328. Oh my god.
Well, it's only because we haven't seen a Yankee do that since probably Robinson Cano, but
Well, Judge hit 3 something, right, last year?
Oh yeah, you are right. He did hit over 300 last year. The pitching leaders, with the ERA, we got Blake Snell leading the NL at 263, right ahead of Justin Steele in just for the NL at 279, and in the AL, we got Nathan Eovaldi at 269, and the Yankees' only pitcher this year, really, Garrett Cole, with his ERA of 276. So he does have a good shot to overtake Eovaldi for the ERA leader.
And former Yankee Sonny Gray, 3.04. Really sad it didn't work out for him in New York because that would have been good.
I mean, Nathan Eovaldi is also a former Yankee. So
that is true. I mean, if they were all still Yankees, I mean, we would have, 3 pitchers in the top 5, but we don't. Well, everyone, that's all the time we have for today on Baseball Chat. Thanks so much for joining us.
For the rest of the season.